All right. Okay. Welcome to day one of the 5 steps to rock your New Year health goals. I'm going to take this off. 5 steps to rock your New Year health goals, and really just figuring out what are the different things we need to consider as we are not just planning to do our goals, but actually walking them out. And as I shared in my Plan Your Healthy Year series last year in December, last month, we want to set goals, we want to set intentions, then we want to set goals. I even shared about this on the podcast last week in the More Than Your Weight podcast, episode 201, where we set intentions, we set goals, but we need to create habits. We need to create actual routines that we do to move us forward in our goals. All right. And so really excited to this week kind of focus on one different area of a healthy habit to support you as you do that. I will preface this and say, I'm only giving a little bit of tips here because I'm going to go way more in depth into each of these areas. These are actually the themes and pillars of my Healthy Habits Jumpstart program that is starting in 2 weeks. We already got a good amount of women in, so I'm really excited to welcome and onboard more women into this program. And I will say you're going to want to stay tuned to the end because I have opened up a scholarship application for this 30-day program. That is where you can apply up until this Friday, so January 14th. I just have heard, by many of the women that I've invited that just life happens, and maybe it's just not, maybe you want to do something like this, you know it's going to help you, you're really going to be committed to it, but you might not just have the funds in your budget. Even though this is a very low cost program compared to most of my other programs, I understand that. So I'm offering one lady a full scholarship, so you're going to want to make sure you apply. I think the link is in here by this Friday. And just letting you know, if you hear some cartoon sounds in the background, my daughter is not napping as she normally is at this time, just woke up a little later. So she's watching Cocomelon. She might appear here. So I'm going to try to be a little quick so she doesn't say, "Oh, mommy, what are you doing?" All right. So today, the first kind of step or habit that we're talking about is graceful planning. And I'm going to explain why I call it graceful planning in a little bit. But before you actually do anything, I'm a planner. And I really thrive on creating a plan. And then if things happen, fine. You got to learn how to adjust, but which is actually what we're talking about too. But the importance is that if you don't create a plan, or at least a plan of action, or just some idea of how you're going to get somewhere or where you're going, you're just going to be like stumbling along the way and be doing random things that may contribute to you moving towards your health goal and actually accomplishing whatever goal that is you have for yourself, or that intention or that desire, but may not. All right. So I just wanted to jump in and share a few tips around that. And I will say, if you are on live or watching the replay, whether here in the Facebook group, or I'm going to put this up on YouTube, please use the comment section to interact as you go along, to process, and I will make sure that I respond. All right. Okay. So a couple of the tips I have around this, I just think when it comes to planning, it just helps with success. We all know that whether it's a project at work or just even like buying Christmas gifts, you got to create a plan for that. Like, I hope, I didn't create a plan for that last year because I was just not up for it. And I was up to that end of the last week trying to get it all done, and it was stressful. So I don't want that to happen for you. So the 3 core things that I want to talk about today that comes around effectively planning is learning to plan, plan to plan, make it simple, and have accountability. Okay. So plan to plan. There's nothing worse than going into a new season or a new project without a plan. Rather than making sure you have all the resources, time you need to work towards your goal each day, being proactive, you will instead go into each day ill-equipped to actually accomplish the steps you need to do to move towards that goal. For example, if your goal is to go to the gym after work each evening during the week, the best thing to do is make sure your gym bag is packed from the night before or the morning of. And the worst thing is just try and run home right before the gym, change quickly, because sometimes you're going to just want to stay home. Let's be honest, right? Therefore, in order to make sure you're well equipped to accomplish your health and fitness goals each day, you need to take some time at the beginning of the week, the end of the week, whatever works best for you, to plan out that week, plan out that month. And by doing this, you will know exactly what days work best for you to move forward in these goals. So you have set for yourself, so that will lead you towards success. And I have a great client, Sharon, who I've worked with before last year, and she just mentioned today, actually on the post earlier, that she likes to do a weekly spread to schedule work. And it's not just, okay, you're not just scheduling your health goals, you're scheduling your life, because you're going to have life things you need to do, and you're going to see where that your health stuff can fit in. And she said, I schedule out which days I can get in a walk, which days I need to prep food, and how many days where can I spend me time. Also, the last week of the month, I do a quickly monthly plan of schedules and appointments, so I can schedule even my mental health secret weapon for her is a red X day or a day off where she pays attention to her own needs and wants. And everyone else gets to know unless they go or need to go to the ER or something like that. And this is something, this idea of planning is something we actually came up in our one-on-one coaching sessions together and really work together to help her figure out a way to plan and work for herself, right? And so it's just very important. Again, we don't want to get stuck if a plan doesn't go as planned, but you are more likely to succeed at any goal, any plan you have when you just create time to plan. The second tip is to keep it simple. Honestly, one of the main reasons people quit their health resolutions early on is because they're trying to make too many changes at one time. This is the worst for our minds and bodies, right? Our brain has a certain way of doing things that it's been doing. And so if we try to overhaul it at one time, it can, for some people, they can handle it, but some people it's just too much. And so, this is actually my journey, my story, that when I actually kept it simple and worked on changing one habit at a time, that's when I started to really be consistent with my health. That's when I started to really be consistent with my eating and my exercise, stress management. That's when I eventually lost weight where my body felt good at, and kept that weight loss for like 7-8 years before I had my first daughter, right? My first child. I don't know what the second one is yet. And so I really encourage, and this is what we're going to focus on, particularly in the Healthy Habits Jumpstart program, is yes, we're going to cover all these areas, but we're going to try to really focus on one thing in each of those areas. Really focus on creating one small habit in your main areas of health or goals you want to work on to ensure that you're setting yourself up to create healthy habits that will last beyond the time period. So I want to help my clients in this 30-day program, or even in my one-on-one 6-month program, create healthy habits that go way beyond just the 30 days or just the 6 months of us working together. All right. And this is something we will do in the program is we'll create even what we call it milestones. So we'll plan out, this is where I want to be at the end of the year. So what's a mile? How do I measure that I'm tracking towards that 6 months from now, 3 months from now, 30 days from now? And so you kind of know that you're doing toward this. And so I apply this milestone kind of way of setting goals. And obviously we talk about SMART goals too, but this milestones when I am writing, when I'm working on even business projects or career or life projects, like organizing my house before the second baby comes, working on finishing my book that I hope you all will read when it comes out before the second baby comes. I'm doing a lot of things, because I have 5 months, right? And I don't know how life is going to be like with 2 young kids right now, but so I'm working on milestones. I want to make sure. But guess what? I think number 3, having accountability is very, very important for the idea of graceful planning, where you're learning how to adjust your plan. It's also very important. And having support or accountability will really help. So honestly, in any major thing that I'm working on in my life, I have accountability. And it may range from a friend, it may range from my husband, it may range from a Bible study group, it may range from coaches, and it may be free, might be paid, but I have accountability to help me towards my goal. There's 3 different aspects even of my business right now that I'm working on: coaching, essential oils, in this book. And I have literally mentors in all 3. It's not that I know what I need to do, and you know what you need to do. All right. We all know what we need to do half the time, but it's the mindset blocks that happen. It's life that happens. And we just often want to quit because we're like, the plan isn't going as planned. But having that support, accountability, one, helps us keep on track as the best as we can, but also shows that we can have grace, that life happens and we need to adjust. I wrote a goal last year to have my first draft of my book finished by, and I'm going to give you some health goals examples, but I just wanted to show you all of this does apply to any goal that you set, not just health goals, by the end of last year. So December 31. I still have 3 or 4 chapters. But I had to adjust. The reason why that didn't happen is that we ended up getting pregnant with our second child, and my first trimester was really rough. And so I did not, anything that I did not necessarily have to do, I did not do. And at first I was like feeling bad about that, but then I actually, going to my mentor, going to my book coach and just saying like, this is what's happening and how can we adjust? And so we had our coaching call this past week, and I'm like, okay, well, I still would like to get this done before I have our second child. And so here's a new plan. So how much time should I dedicate towards these different aspects? What habits should I work on? We created a plan. Now, well, I might have to adjust that plan along the way. Yes, but I know what I'm working with. And having someone to help me celebrate when I'm on track in reaching those milestones, having someone who helped me adjust, or having someone just to talk to when I don't feel like doing it is so important. And so there are so many ways, again, that you can get accountability. You can, my Facebook group, More Than Your Weight Women's Community, and you can get trackers or journals. I have all of that. Have a friend, hire a trainer or a coach. But I really am going to say that like my 30-day, like my coaching programs in general, but especially this 30-day one coming up, is going to just provide you with such a high level of support and accountability that you're just going to be dumbfounded by like actually how good it feels to be supported, how good it feels to know you're not alone, how good it feels to know it's normal that you create a plan and you got to change it and you adjust it, or you just don't want to do it. So having accountability is a game changer, not just your health, business, and life, right? Everything. And even in my health, it's like I'm in a new season of my life where for a long season of my life, health and fitness, I did not have a child. I was not pregnant. I was not postpartum. But for the last few years, I have either been pregnant, been postpartum, or trying to get pregnant, or pregnant again. And I have a particular fitness community that I'm a part of, and that does help with nutrition and stuff like that, that when I have questions about how to navigate nutrition and fitness in this area, I have support. And I'm willing to invest in it because I don't have the time or energy to like waste wondering what to do or to like not do anything. It's important to me. So I want to really invest in a place or get the support I need. All right. And so, I make time at the beginning of every week to plan, well, these are the things I want to do personally, business, health-wise. Where am I going to fit in each day? Then the end of every night, I plan, okay, what am I going to do in the next day? So I can just focus on that day. And so I'm always planning like for the year, then for the quarter, then for the month, then for the week, and then for the day. And I'm willing to adjust it. Like there are some things that I put on my to-do list today that are like bonus things. I put my top 3 things, and then there are things that are bonus things. If I get to them, great. Right. And so it's the same way, and having that, and I have people who support me in those things. Okay. And so I really think when it comes to planning, it's learning the idea that we need to create a plan. We need to make it simple, but we need to have accountability and support to really help us learn to adapt, learn to adjust, learn to celebrate when we're reaching those milestones and that plan is like on its way, but also learn to have grace when things just don't go as planned, or when you don't feel like doing things as much, when things happen. All right. So I would love to hear from you, from the 3 tips that I've mentioned. Which one do you want to implement in 2022 to help you plan well and get the health goals and reach those health goals? Share with us in the comments, share with us somehow which one you're going to do. Are you going to just try to create time each week or each month or each season to plan, like creating plan to plan, like put it in your calendar, this is my planning day? Are you going to try to just keep your goals and your new habits you want to set more simple? Are you going to really get support or accountability to really help you? And then, so which one are you going to do? And then how are you going to implement it? And this is a habit. Planning is a habit that some people are just naturally good at, and some people have to work on. Some people know they need to do it. I have a lot of, like, in addition to health coaching clients, I have life coaching clients. And a lot of these life coaching clients are very career driven, very ambitious, and are very high, have high executing strengths. But also, I think they realize that the importance of really creating space so that they can plan everything they have going on, so they don't feel overwhelmed and they know exactly what they want to work on when they want to work on it, professionally and personally. All right. And I think the same is for you. Getting that support and creating time to plan is so key, and keeping it simple. All right. So tell us which of these tips planning to plan, keep it simple, and having support and accountability you want to implement in 2022, and how are you going to do it? And I will say this is the first module, this is the first theme, this is the first week that we cover in the 30-day Healthy Habits Jumpstart program. We're going to really work on creating aligned goals. So like you might already have goals coming in, but I want to like even refine that even more through the eyes of graceful planning, really looking at areas that you have desires and intentions and creating goals that you can actually do, and then breaking them down into milestones. So we'll be doing that in the very first week of the Healthy Habits program. But then each week, we're going to take some time to, this is where the milestones come in handy. Obviously, by that point, you're going to have a 30-day goal, and that's what we're going to work on, that 30-day goal together. We're going to take time each week to figure out, okay, what do I need to work on this week to move me towards that 30-day goal? All right. And then I have my food journal and habits tracker to help set you up in that, right? So then, okay, here's how I'm going to track my goals. I'm gonna break it down. So I'm gonna walk. I want to by the eventually at the end of the month, be walking 5 times a week. All right, first week we're gonna walk 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and breaking that down. And then there's a space to share at the beginning of the week together, so that at the end of the week, this process of planning is so important. We're gonna do a reflection. I like to call this RCA, reflection, celebration, and adjustment. So say if you planned at the beginning of the week, you told us, okay, in the 30 days, I want to be walking 5 times a week. And so this first week, I'm going to try twice. And then at the end of the week, you didn't. We're going to just talk about why. Why didn't it go well? Oh, okay. It was a very busy week and you didn't pack your walking shoes, or your daughter was sick. Okay, so how can we adjust next week so you can at least do the 2 times? You know what I mean? And so this process of aligned goal setting, breaking it down into milestones, weekly planning, and weekly reflection is what we will cover in week 1, but also, of course, throughout the whole program in the 30-day Healthy Habits Jumpstart. All right. And so let me know what you're going to implement for my 3 tips I mentioned here. But if these concepts, these ideas, these actual coaching support around the different things I talked about that we're going to cover in the program, aligned goal setting, weekly planning, weekly reflection, is something you want support around, I encourage you to do one of 2 things. 1, if you know that actually investing in your health, paying some money to show yourself that your health and stuff is worth it, I really encourage you to sign up this week, because the early bird price ends on Friday. Early bird price right now is $2.99 for the whole 30 days of a lot of support, or broken up into 2 payments. And I actually really encourage people to first think of this option before they do the free option. The reason why is because there's something that shifts in you when you invest money. You exchange value, because you're telling yourself, you're worth more, way more than money can ever buy. But like, I am worth this money, and investing this into my health through my version of like, this is my self-care. This is my way of taking care of my body this new year. And so I'm telling myself and telling the world, telling my bank account, that's true. Because you can see a lot about what you really value by what you spend your money on, right? And so if that is you, I encourage you to sign up and get the early bird price before the price goes up at the end of, actually on Saturday. All right, because again, it does wonders for you, not for me. It does wonders for you when you can tell yourself that I'm worth the time and investment, even financially. But if you are in a season like this, program sounds like something you want to do. And throughout each day this week, I'm going to cover like different things we're going to cover in the program. And of course, there's calls, there's Facebook group, there's all of these resources. If you want to do this program, but you just know you cannot financially swing it, and even in a little bit, I encourage you to apply for the scholarship. The scholarship application is open to Friday. I'm giving 1 woman a free full scholarship because I really believe in this program. I believe it has the potential to transform your health and your life, not just this year, but forever. And so that is my action step for you. Let me know which one of these tips you're going to do, but also, again, if you're like, I'm worth a time investment and I need to show myself for that through paying for this program, do that this week so you can get the early bird price. But if you're like, I really can't, but I really want to join, I really want to do this, and I'm committed to, if I get this free scholarship, to really jumping all in, apply for the scholarship. The deadline for both the early bird price and even the bonus one-on-one call that you get when you do the early bird price is this Friday, as well as this deadline to apply for the scholarship. All right. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions when you're watching the replay about any of this. If you have questions about the program, you want me to send you the PDF with more details, I'll try to link it in here as well, on what exactly is included. If you want me to, yeah, and if you want to just share what you're going to apply, what tip you're going to apply that we talked about, let me know that. I would really want to just see you thrive this year and really not just make these health goals something you arbitrarily set and you hope that they happen, but really put in the work, put in the mindset and the habits and the action work to see it come to life. All right, so that's it. I will see you on day 2. Tomorrow we're talking about diet-free eating and really focusing on the nutrition area and getting into that healthy habit. And then I'll share with you some tips around that, but also how we're going to uniquely cover that in my Healthy Habits Jumpstart program. All right. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to try around 1 p.m. as well. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.